About a year ago, we asked ourselves, could we make the first RC ParkJet smart plane? And you're probably thinking, hey dummy, what's a smart plane? Car designers today are always trying to make smarter and smarter cars, using computers with the steering and the braking and the transmission and everything else, as well as the overall frame of the car makes more sense. It's smarter. By the end of the year, we have the F18 version 3, our first smart plane and my personal favorite of the new V3 fleet. It's the first plane to have everything come together in the right proportions. Let me give you a little context of what I'm talking about. Just about every RC plane you've ever flown has some instability somewhere. You feel it when it goes too fast, when it goes too slow, when it goes into the turns, high alpha, stunts. At some point, that plane is going to start washing out. Now, the F18 we found over the years is a super stable platform. The second thing going on is that planes that aren't ready for aerobatics go from bad to worse. We saw this with our old stock Wildhawk. When the controls were too small, it struggled to do aerobatics. And then you put larger control surfaces on there that are a little bit too big, and they now move the plane too much and stall the wing, and now it rolls over while you're trying to do a loop. That's a kind of an extreme example that is happening to most planes out there. You don't notice it until you fly a smart plane. The third thing is, so many planes out there have the wrong power system set up on them. First of all, they got the wrong propeller, so their acceleration or speed is way off. Their motors are too small or too big, so their weight is way off. And you don't get that amazing performance that that airframe could do if it had the right motor on it. So let me share with you 3 major things that we did with the RC F18 version 3. The first true smart plane that makes sloppy pilots fly like pros. Number 1 is we started with the most stable platform. Number 2, it's aerobatically perfect. And number 3, power to weight ratio is right on. So starting with number 1. The F18 platform has vertical stabilizers in the way, shape, and form that is ideal for great stability, especially in speeds and aerobatics. If you look at the vertical stabilizers, they're very vertical. They're not angled way out like the Stealth. And they're in between the back of the wing and the horizontal stabilizer. Where on the F22, the back end is shoved up against the wing to block the radar from seeing the vertical stabilizers. The problem is you also block the wind from seeing the vertical stabilizers. So what this means is when the F18 goes into turns, when it goes into high alpha, it has incredible vertical stability all the time. And not every plane has that. The second thing with its stability features is that the center of gravity and the center of lift are about in the same spot. So again, contrast the F22. You have the center of gravity towards the front of the wing, at least on an RC version, and then the center of lift, meaning where you get the majority of your lift, is behind that spot. So you're getting a little bit of a tension here where it's wanting to lift more in the back. The F117, again, the same thing. So it forces you to counteract that by flying with some reflex, some up trim, to kind of shove the tail back down because it's getting too much lift back there. This tension now starts to cause problems for you at higher speeds. And so you kind of have to babysit your plane or retrim your plane if it's flying slow or flying fast, because as you increase the speed, the trim starts to get wacky. So this is not the case with the F18. It's always in perfect trim. And again, these are little things you don't even know that you're doing on these other planes until you fly a perfect plane like this, that you don't have to do any of it. And the third thing with stability is the wing shape. It is fast and it is stable, and it is stable at high angles. You get the F-22 or F-35 or other planes, and they start to stall at weird angles and become problems for you. Great for speed, great for stealth, but for something that is going to stay consistent through the whole flight envelope, I haven't seen much that comes close to the shape of the F-18 wing. So that's the first major point. It's starting with very stable platform. Second thing to note is its aerobatic perfection. A lot of professional pilots, when they do a roll, once they go upside down just for that split second, they're giving it down elevator and then it rolls back around and giving it up elevator, and even throwing rudder in there. Now, that requires some fast thumbs and a lot of practice and coordination levels beyond my own. And without it, you have a very sloppy roll, but not with the F-18. You just yank the stick to the right for a second, and it rolls perfectly and keeps going. It's incredible. It feels fake. And the control surfaces, you've got 4 in the back in the prop wash, so you're having extreme precision at all speeds. So that's the second point, aerobatic perfection. The third thing is the power to weight ratio. So we played a lot with the size. We would take the V2 and prototype F-18s and take them out to the field, and you've seen us do this before, and fly it, cut a ½ inch off the wing, fly it, cut a ½ inch off the wing, and keep going to where it was then too small, and then add some back in. It was calibrating to get the right exact size. So you add a 1/2 inch to the wing, make it 5% larger or smaller, and you start to get some undesired results pretty quickly. I kind of don't like getting a stock plane and then immediately have to upgrade it to get the performance I'm looking for. And of course you can put a Megajet on this thing and it'll go really fast, and that's great. But you might try it with the stock recommended 2200 kV 47 gram 400 size motor first. And what I'm looking for is not as necessarily high-end speed. The new MiG-29 V3 has that. I'm looking for acceleration, and I had plenty of that. If you want fast and aerobatics and more, that's the MiG-29 V3. That'll be coming up in next week's video.